This hour brought to you by Nutrafol. If your hair isn't playing like it did in your 20s, it's time for a comeback because throwing on a hat isn't a strategy. Start Nutrafol today and make the hat optional. Visit Nutrafol.com, enter the promo code Dan Patrick. Reggie Miller, he was on the call with Mike Tirico, the Celtics 76ers last night, and Reggie joins us on the program. You got any official return date for Jayson Tatum after being around the Celtics?
Okay, let me clean up some things first because people assumed that we were flexing into that Sunday night game with Boston because we had gotten early information that Tatum was going to be back for that game, which wasn't the case. We were flexing in because it was a better game between two red-hot Eastern Conference teams. The other game was, I believe, Dallas versus Atlanta. Even though Atlanta's playing a little bit better, Dallas is kind of going the other way. So that's why we flexed into the game. It wasn't that we had inside knowledge that Tatum will be back. To answer your question, and you and I have kind of talked about this, when he should be back. I'm hearing as early as Friday that he's thinking about coming back. I believe they do play Dallas at home. I'm from the thinking I would like to see him come back in the playoffs, but people are like, well, he needs games under his belt. This will be a decision that he has to make. I think it's a foregone conclusion that he is coming back this year. I'm a little surprised, but I think he's been doing this, working so hard for his mental, and I think he's ahead of schedule. I don't know if you've watched any of that 5-part documentary of, the quiet part of them following him around. The best thing, if there was, knock on wood, the best thing when he tore his Achilles in Game 5, I believe, in New York, that the doctor was right there, that they attached it right away. And the thinking was the body didn't even know that it had that traumatic experience. That's how quickly, within 24 hours, they had the surgery on the Achilles. So that's why he is so far ahead of schedule versus a Damian Lillard or a Tyrese Halliburton, is because they had the surgery within 24 hours.
But I don't know why you push him. The Celtics have won 8 of 10. They're really getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different players. And I don't know if maybe you're not rushing him back, but it feels like.
Let's clear this up. The Celtics are not rushing Jayson Tatum. No one is saying, come back and play. This is all coming from Tatum's camp. So the Celtics are being very patient.
Wait a minute, Tatum can say when he wants to come back?
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is going to be Jayson Tatum's decision, along with the doctors. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're going to put him through vigorous workouts and all that. But at the end of the day, Tatum will have the last say saying, I think or I want to go.
Okay.
It won't be the doctor saying that. So no one from the Celtic side is trying to hurry up the process and get Tatum back on the floor. This is all, the narrative is all coming from the Tatum side, as it should be, because it's his decision and his decision alone.
Let's go back a couple of weeks. You're there with Caitlin Clark, and you say to the other guys on the NBC set that her play reminds you of Peyton Pritchard. Okay. You see Peyton Pritchard last night. Does he say anything about that comparison to Caitlin Clark?
Well, we had the conversation because when I said that, it was a Sunday night game. It was our first Sunday night game. It was in New York. It just so happened we had a game Tuesday in Dallas with Boston. And obviously everything blew up after that because they're saying her look like she felt disrespected. This is people saying she felt disrespected. And the question from Maria to me was, who does her game remind you of? It wasn't the question of historically or stature-wise, who is she compared to? Because if that was the case, obviously the WNBA, she has brought so much attention and eyes like a Stephen Curry. So if that was the question, then I probably should have said Stephen Curry. But I was going by game alone. Like, who does her game remind me of? And when I look at Peyton Pritchard, and if you've watched Peyton Pritchard, which you've seen a lot because you live in that area, they're very similar. Now, he's probably a better scorer once he gets into the paint. But I was talking about it in terms, she loves to go left in that step back three, deep three. That's Peyton Pritchard. Throw ahead, get the ball back, make quick moves, assist. To me, that was Peyton Pritchard. I think people got caught up because it wasn't a huge name. You know, people say you could have said Damian Lillard, you could have said Trae Young, you could have said Stephen Curry. I was comparing the games, guys, not the stature of Caitlin Clark.
But did you see her reaction, though? She was surprised with your with what you said.
I didn't see her reaction until everyone was like, did you see her reaction? I was like, I was talking about the game. So, but if you've seen
okay,
his
if I
game,
let you do it again,
if you've seen his game recently, everyone, like the game against LA, everyone was like, oh, I guess Reggie was right. Reggie's closer to that than she is to Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's more off the ball now. Caitlin Clark has the ball like Peyton Pritchard has the ball all the time. It's just that Peyton Pritchard, to the common fan, isn't well known like Stephen Curry. But to the basketball people know Peyton. People really love Peyton Pritchard. But it is what it is.
If you had to do it over again, and I ask you, who does Caitlin Clark's game remind you?
I'm gonna say Peyton Pritchard, Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Kane Cunningham, SGA. She's all of them.
Yeah, all right.
She's everyone.
Who would have known that you would have thought you'd get embroiled in something like this? But
I was like, really?
It's because
I'm comparing her games. See, that lets me know people don't know Peyton Pritchard's game.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? I am always exchanging these summer league videos with Marvin. It'll be a Sunday morning at 7:30, and I'll send him a video of Peyton Pritchard playing in some kind of summer league game, a pro-am game, and he is unbelievable.
Scorching.
Yes.
Scorching. But again, he is not a house. When you think of the Celtics, you think of Tatum and Brown. You really don't think of Pritchard. But the basketball purists, we know who Peyton Pritchard is. But again, it wasn't the name I guess she wasn't looking for, or the people wasn't looking for.
They were looking for Steph.
But that's not her game. That's not her game. The only thing that she has in common with Steph is that they both shoot deep. Steph plays off the ball now.
Yeah. We're talking to Reggie Miller. Reg on the call for the Celtics and Peyton Pritchard against the 76ers. There's the Magic City game in Atlanta. And I was curious.
Are you going?
No, I'll be working.
Okay.
But,
I'll be working.
Have you been to Magic City, the wing establishment in Atlanta?
I'm sure at some point have I ever been to Magic City? Maybe. Have you ever been to Magic City?
I have not, but I did when we went down to do Celebrity Family Feud. I gave Marvin.
You did a show from Magic City?
No. I did Celebrity Family Feud, and we were down there, and we went to dinner, and then Marvin says, "Hey, I'd like to go to Magic City," and I said, "I'm not going." I gave him $100. And he said he was going to make it rain, and he went there for you made it drizzle. How long did you go for?
So I thought I was going to go there for, 45 minutes tops. 3.5 hours later.
Whoa, Marvin!
He said, who was there? Lil Bow Wow?
Lil Bow Wow and T-Pain and Jermaine Dupri.
Okay, it's safe to say, to answer your question, I've never made it rain in Magic City. So I can say that. Marvin,
have you made it sprinkle?
Marvin, you have one-up me. You have one-up me. I've never made it rain in Magic City.
Have you made it sprinkle?
I've never made it rain, sprinkle, drizzle, a little cloud cover, none of that.
That wasn't back in your generation, though.
I think it was back. Was it? How long has it been around?
No, I mean making it rain.
Oh, no, that's a new thing, making it rain.
Yeah, like James Harden is MVP at making it rain.
He probably has a jersey in there.
Well, yeah, when they retire your jersey in a strip club,
That's balling. There's so many ways we could go with this. I'm going to take the high road. Good for him.
Making it rain.
Good for him.
Okay. I took credit. Now I have to take some blame. I would pester the commissioner of the NBA to, why don't we establish a number of games you need to play to qualify for first team, second team, third team, for MVP. And I kept saying 65. Now, whether he listened to me or not, we're at a point where Joker can't miss more than one more game. SGA, you might have somebody win the MVP who is not really the MVP in people's eyes, but only because they qualify. What would you do with the 65 game minimum to qualify for postseason honors?
Number one, I'd get rid of it. That's a hard number in today's game. And I know it sounds so trivial for people to say they can't play 65 games. The amount of running and how the game is played today, I see where the injuries are coming from. I think 65, it's a tough number. And in terms of someone winning MVP, I would be okay if Cade Cunningham won MVP this year because of the number of games. His numbers back it up. His teams back it up. I would be okay if Jaylen Brown won MVP this season. His numbers back it up. His game backs it up. So it's unfortunate. Injuries are a part of this game. But I was going back. Didn't A-Rod win in baseball? He won an MVP, I believe, with the Texas Rangers, and they were like in last place or something like that, right? Or second to last, something like that.
Andre Dawson won an MVP with the Cubs. They finished last. I think Cal Ripken might have won an MVP.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate. I talk about injuries being a part of it. I don't personally like this 65. You look at the All-NBA teams this year. That's a different conversation because we could have people that are making the All-NBA teams that probably normally wouldn't be first, second, or third team because of this 65-game rule. The awards, I can kind of see, but there are going to be some guys on the All-NBA team where you're going to be scratching your head a little bit.
Jeff Teague has the Club 520 podcast, and he was asked the following question.
Watching Jokic highlights, and y'all thinking how good Jokic is, how good you think Larry Bird would be right now?
Larry Bird? He'd be the MVP. Small forward version.
You think he'd be like one of the best? Like,
yes. Larry Bird would do this night in, night out.
Sometimes I used to watch like older people play. I used to be like, man, he ain't athletic, he ain't this. But then when I watch Jokic, it's like he walking around, bro. Yeah. He just make it look so simple. I'm like, if Larry Bird play right now, it's like Luka and Jokic just be walking around.
Larry Bird
average 30.
For sure,
10, 8.
So what do you think?
Larry Bird could play in any era, generation, and dominate. Same with Magic. Those guys, Michael, it doesn't matter. You could plug them in the 60s, and you could plug them in today's game, and they would be just as dominant. People say Shaq wouldn't be as dominant in today's game, where there's so much space and they're switching. Everyone plays 5 out, 0 in. And they're like, Shaq would not be as dominant. You guys are out of your damn mind. Shaq would dominate probably even more so because he would be fouling out he would be fouling out Embiid and the Jokers. It would be ridiculous. Larry Bird would dominate in today's games. And he gets to shoot 15 to 23s? Are you kidding me?
Why is it, and Seton brought this up earlier, if Larry was that great a shooter, why did he never averaged more than three-pointers a game?
But
attempts.
The game was played different because the game was played with your back to the basket. It was more physical, and there was no zones.
When did it change?
I would say early 2000s is when the game started to drift to be more space, pace, open it up, more running. I would say right as I was retiring, 2004, 2005, that's when, because we wanted scoring up, And how do you get more scoring? You got to make more threes. So teams started to take and make more threes. So early 2000 is when it shifted.
But is this Golden State changing the game, or is it before Golden State?
Well, if you remember Run TMC with Don Nelson and, Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, they were ahead of their time.
But I don't think they were shooting threes with regularity. I think that they were
not like
just
they are
running.
today.
They were
not like they are today. But think about it. Started with Mark Jackson, and then Steve Kerr just took it to a different level in terms of head coach. You had two of the greatest shooters ever on one team, and Stephen and Klay Thompson. So why not utilize that? And
yeah, but I was trying to think: was there another player, team, coach who said, you're going to have to play our style at the other end of the floor? And
I think as of recent, that's how the Celtics won their championship. And they've been in contention over the last 5-6 years. Joe Mazzulla and them, they want to take 43s. And I think last year they averaged 18. This year they're averaging 15 made threes. So and that's, without Tatum. Without Tatum, he makes up those 3 or 4 threes. So that's how Boston plays. That's how they're successful. But people, don't get it twisted. Another reason why Golden State was so good at winning championships, their defense was elite. Boston, their defense is elite as well.
I think we've talked about this. I had Robert Oreo on, and Reggie's a Hall of Famer. And I'm going to say this because it's just like Draymond Green. You're part of an ensemble. Robert Horry, when your nickname is Big Shot Bob, you played for the Lakers, you played for the Rockets, you played for the Spurs. You have 7 NBA titles, and you played big in big minutes. This is no different than Michael Cooper with his contributions to the Lakers and being part of an ensemble. So now I'm on this kick to get Robert Horry into the Hall of Fame. And I know he was a good college player. He said he probably didn't have any play designed for him in his career, but he was playing with unbelievably talented players who kind of overshadowed anything that he did. It was Tim Duncan, Spurs. It was Akeem's Rockets. It was Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. But Robert Horry has 7 titles, and it is part of, winning those titles.
Not only 7 titles, but if you go back to each one of those runs for him, there was a moment in each of those series in the finals where the nickname became true.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that. People love to focus in on the numbers. I believe he doesn't even have over 11,000 career points. That's not the point you and I are talking about, is what difference did you make on those championship runs? And whether it's the tip back to him at the 3 versus Sacramento, the huge shots that he made on those back-to-back title runs in Houston, or with the Spurs, a little hip check to Steve Nash to extend that. There's moments that we know about Robert Horry, and I agree with you. And Shaq and I, we've had this conversation before, that Big Shot Bob should be a Hall of Famer. Eventually, I think he'll get in. Everyone does. But, yeah, I think he should be a Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah, man. And plus, he was a guy who would give you 100 blocks.
Yes. People forgot how good defensively he was, too.
Yeah. I asked him, I said, better defender, Mike or Scotty? He goes, oh, Scotty. He didn't even hesitate.
Yeah. I would say, Scotty was guarding 1 through 5. And as good as Mike was, and I say that because Mike had to guard me. I mean, I had some of my best games against Jordan. So, but when they put Scotty on me, it was a little different.
Well, I always go back to when Scotty picked up Mark Jackson full court.
Oh, man.
And I
that
felt
changed
bad.
That whole series.
I felt bad for Mark because Mark's not going to be.
And we should have known that it was coming because that's what he did to John Stockton. Completely took him out.
Okay.
When he picked him up full. And we should have known that.
Damn.
But we did.
Thank you, Reg, as always. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll see you at Magic City, y'all. Come
Magic
on,
City.
Marvin.
Marvin making it sprinkle. Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III.